life changed in so many ways at once. As the day begun, I lived one life. As the day ended, I had begun anew, reborn with a new life, a new mission, reborn with a new vision. What may come, I don't know yet, but I am here alive, living my life to the fullest, with new love in my heart and soul, a gift to have, a gift to give, a new life of love, reborn.
Good afternoon, everybody. So nice to see you. Welcome, welcome. I am your host, Teresa. This is my channel, Wounds to Wisdom. I'm still a little bit under the weather, folks, so we're going to take a couple of different approaches to today. And what I can't complete today, we'll move on to Thursday. So today is, many of you refer to it as Taco Tuesday. So it is the 19th of August. And I just want to say, whoa, Nelly, slow the month down. This month has moved at lightning speed, maybe because I've missed a week or two being under the weather. And so it's really something else. But, you know, this season of change, and that's what I go into fall with. It's introspective for me. Obviously, things are dying. The leaves are falling off the trees, and they've already started here, which is, I think, complicating my allergies. And I guess I should do a voice test. Can you guys hear me okay? Can you just give me a thumbs up or something on the channel? So I know if you can hear me well enough. It hasn't always been an issue, but so I'm not ready for September. You know, that is my introspective time, and August is sort of that in between time period. Oh, good. You can hear me. Thank you, Victor. I appreciate that so much. And I just have to interrupt by saying, Victor, both last night and this morning on your live meditations, there is a glow about you. So I don't know if I've missed some other change that's been occurring on your channel, but there is a lightness and a very, I don't want this to sound weird, but an angelic aura around you. So you have this lightness to you lately. That's very obvious to me. So I just wanted to throw that out there. And Josh reached 1,000 subs, which is wonderful, and congratulations. I'm hoping for 200 by the end of the year. I'm a little bit stalled, but I'm okay. You know, whatever organically happens is fine by me. So one of the reasons that this topic did come up, and I don't think she's going to be here today, is Jimena. Jimena had said on one of my lives that, you know, she wants to lose weight and she was struggling a little bit. And I had mentioned multiple times on this channel since I started in January that hypnosis really does work. And so I thought what I would do today is talk a little bit about it and talk about how self-hypnosis works, how you can use that um, and implement it if it's, if you're so inclined. So I'm not a doctor. Let's just be really clear. I'm not a medical professional. I am a certified hypnotherapist. But when we talk about anything that, is therapeutic in any way, whether it's psychological, physical, um, and then mental, mental being a change in your thought process. Um, just be aware you choose, and any changes that you wish to make are clearly your decision, your free will, your opportunity for change. And so I wanted to just a little bit talk about what is hypnosis at a very high level, guys. So I'm not writing any soliloquies here. Um, and this is not the document. I had saved some documents to keep me on track so that we didn't get lost. And there are many hypnosis experts. And I am part of the Hypnosis Guild, the National Guild here in the United States. So we have so many teachers, fabulous teachers. And so I've um, gleaned some information from one of the teachers, Carl Banyan. I have his book. I have multiple books. I have stacks over here. I don't think anybody can see, but I have stacks of books that I use as reference points, and have been studying since. So I have to think about this now. I sort of have a new life date, right? Everything from 2019 is my new life. I started in 2020 with helping a friend who has a hypnotherapy practice, and she has a very thriving practice today. Um, and I had just come out of this heart event. I wasn't working. I volunteered because I thought it would be fun. It would be something different, and it gave me a purpose. And being with her for about I think it was a year, um, or maybe a little less, she highly encouraged me to become a hypnotherapist. And so I have been a certified hypnotherapist now, I believe, since 2021. And I've been practicing over those years. The last year, less so. Um, and, you know, I've been practicing a lot of things less in the last couple of years just to regroup and reground who I am, what I want to do, where I want to go. And honestly, I wasn't sure if I was going to physically be, hello, Laura, you're here. We've all been saying hello to you. So you must have stepped away and come back. So happy you're here. Um, and it was beautiful listening to your singing bowls. I have some myself. I do not play that eloquently. And truly, it was so cathartic for me today. So thank you for that. Um, so hypnosis, you're going to have people talking about hypnosis, that it's some form of sleep or a trance or an altered state. And each of these are sort of true. But from, you know, hypnosis is not really a state of being unconscious. Rather, it's like a focused consciousness. Anytime you're in hypnosis, you hear every single thing. So if you were to fall asleep, if you were to sort of leave your body for a while, your brain still is recording all of that information. So when people say, oh my God, I fell asleep during the hypnosis, it didn't work, but then they go to the grocery store, Jimena, oh, you did make it. I wasn't sure you were going to. Blessings to you and your dad. And so we're just getting started. You haven't missed anything. So, you know, somebody would end up going to the grocery store, and part of the hypnosis was you only walked the outside of a grocery store, right? That's usually where all the fresh fruits and vegetables are. So, and dairy. and in the middle is all the processed foods. And so when this person who was complaining they fell asleep through hypnosis and it didn't work, it worked. So I really just want to encourage you to be aware that, there's a teacher, my teacher's husband, um, some of his kids would fall asleep. Some of his material was really, dense and heavy, and the kids were exhausted. And some would fall asleep during class, and he never woke them. He would stand near them and talk to them and teach, and those kids were still absorbing that information. But I think that, when we talk about consciousness, we're never truly unconscious. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit, but your mind is always aware of what's happening. And so that's, where I am and what I want to talk about. And there's a couple of elements here that we'll talk at a high level, and then I'll bring it back a little bit, see how I'm doing through the rest of this show, and if you can hear me well enough. So Carl Banyan talked about, our minds are kind of divided into three places, right? The conscious mind, so we're talking the subconscious and the unconscious mind. And so your conscious mind is effectively our point of focus right now, meaning what's happening in this moment. Teresa's talking to you. You are listening to Teresa talk, right? That's consciousness. We are aware. And I'm really simplifying this, guys. So, don't, if you're looking for greater detail, that would be a class. So your subconscious mind is who you really are. It's the sum of all of your experiences. It makes up what we call our personality. It's where our permanent memory is kept. And then the unconscious mind is our body's consciousness. Even though it's called unconscious, right? It's a very active level of consciousness. It's only called unconscious because we are not consciously aware of what it's doing. But the body is doing it automatically. Breathing, our heart rates, sweating, our circulatory system, blood flowing and moving throughout. That's all unconscious, right? Our emotional responses, we cry, we laugh. That's all unconscious responses. And then when we think more about it, there's a couple more concepts. But the real definition, if you think about hypnosis, it's using hypnotic techniques intended to move the client towards health and wellness. And then I wanted to introduce three other kind of high-level topics: dopamine, endorphins, and brain waves, because that's all part of hypnosis. So I kind of wish Ben was here, because Ben's Mr. Response, and he's very technical, and I think he would enjoy this. But so there's a breakdown between how dopamine and how endorphins affect our brains, and they are both feel-good chemicals, right? And they play key roles in emotional regulation, our motivation, our pain, our relief, our healing. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about that, because dopamine is the motivation and reward messenger. So one of the things that would make me feel good is having a devil dog. The devil dog triggers the dopamine and says, oh my God, I'm getting a sugar high. I feel so great. And then 5 seconds later, oh, I'm so depressed and sad and heavy. And because now there's no sugar. And we're going to talk about it, but I just wanted to give an example. So dopamine is that, for those of you that don't know, Witchy Trista, hello, lovely. I'm so glad you're here. It's a neurotransmitter and hormone that's produced in our brains. It acts as a chemical messenger between the neurons and our body system, right? So our bodies are constantly talking to us in different places. And the effects of dopamine on the brain It's kind of that pleasure and reward, right? Um, it's released during pleasurable activities. It reinforces behaviors like eating, sex, any achievements like an athletic event or something, sports that you're participating in, a musical concert. There's some kind of zhuzh you're getting, right? And it drives goal oriented behavior, even if it's negative behavior. This is how we're getting into the hypnosis for potentially weight loss and anything else. Um, it's also dopamine is like this learning and memory. It helps reward memories. So I remember the taste of the devil dog. And the brain gets happy. It's also like a mood regulator, right? Imbalances linked to depression, addiction, schizophrenia, which is not my area of expertise, but it all is a trigger. And the effect on our body dopamine has, you know, it's like this there's motor control and sleep that's impacted by it, right? It influences circadian rhythms and alertness. It affects our insulin and our digestion and our blood flow. So, and also our fight or flight, it plays a small role in stress reactions. So, low dopamine, fatigue, low mood, poor focus. High dopamine, you're really euphoric and you're impulsive and you have insomnia. Low dopamine can be linked to depression, ADHD. High dopamine can also be linked to mania and addictions and schizophrenia. So now, just a brief blurb on that. We're going to go to endorphins, our body's natural painkiller, right? Endorphins are peptide hormones and neurotransmitters produced again in the brain. I like how I'm pointing to our head like you don't know where the brain is. Oh my goodness. Um, Endorphins, release are released during pain, stress, pleasure. And they talk about a pain relief. So bind to opioid receptors to block pain signals. And from a mood perspective, it creates feelings of well being, euphoria. From a stress reduction, it lowers cortisol and anxiety levels. From an emotional perspective, it boosts self esteem and emotional regulation. The effects on our body, well, it may enhance immune function. Endorphins impact the appetite, it influences hunger and our metabolism. Also, sleep and recovery, so it can support restful states and healing and inflammation control. Um, Too little endorphins are linked to depression, chronic pain, anxiety, addiction, and sleep. See how all of this is sort of interconnected? Um, and So in practice, the dopamine is supported, it supports hypnosis by enhancing the focus, the motivation, and the receptivity to change. You have to want the change. The endorphins create the safety, it reduces the pain and deepens the relaxation. And we're going to talk about this a little bit, but dopamine during visualization, goal setting, and affirmations. That's the dopamine part of our brain when we do hypnosis. And endorphins are released during breath work, Reiki, emotional release. And they work in tandem during hypnosis. Okay. And so, what I mean by that is in hypnosis, we're motivating you, the client, to engage with the process to reinforce a positive suggestion. Yes, Laura, you have to want it. It's the same thing with anything, smoking cigarettes, right? That's a big one. If you don't want to do it, and we used to say this to clients, well, my wife said, I had to quit smoking. The guy didn't want to quit smoking. He liked to smoke. He has to want to quit smoking in order for it to happen. Now, hypnosis will help you, but we can't just do things willy-nilly. Same thing whether it's sleep. In order to sleep, you have to turn off the TV. You have to turn off lights. Now, I don't sleep in the dark. I like the natural lights from outside. I'm not disturbed by that. But if I leave, and the TV does help me, it reduces some anxiety, but it has to be in a timer and it has to go off. Because that will, your brain is receiving whatever you're watching. So, we all are accountable to ourselves, and you have to want to make a change. And in hypnosis, endorphins create this emotional safety. And it allows you to stay in that safe place of hypnosis. And they form this, like, they call it a neurochemical bridge between intention and embodiment. And so a lot of this happens during, and we're going to talk about hypnosis here for a second. So I know in the past, sorry, I dropped something. I was going to make some noises. Hypnosis, how does it work? Well, there's a couple of things just at a high level. There's always a pre-talk. Why are you coming into the hypnosis? I want to lose weight. Great. So when you say you want to lose weight, what does that really look like? Is it just pounds? Is it I want to stop sugar? Is it I want to eat more balanced food? Is it I want to include exercise? What is it that you want? We want to hone down in the pre-talk, right? It's intention, it's goal setting. It's no different than any of us every month when there's a full moon, we set an intention for ourselves for the month, right? You're setting an intention, a motivation, a goal. What do you want? And during the induction phase of the hypnosis, this is when me, the hypnotherapist, takes what you have shared and begins to quiet your body, relaxes the body, relaxes the mind, creates that safety mechanism where you feel safe, so that the focus shifts inward. And you could hear traffic outside, but eventually that's going to go away. You're not really, going to be interrupted by that, because now you're following the voice. The dopamine, it begins that quiet focus, and the endorphin rises with breath work, so you feel safe. And then we sort of talk about the suggestion phase. So again, with the dopamine and the endorphins, the dopamine is reinforcing the new beliefs and behaviors, and the endorphins deepen that emotional receptivity. All right. And just so you all are a little bit aware, the suggestion phase, by the time you've gone into this induction relaxed state, you're now ready and open to the suggestion to change the pattern, the whatever it is. So I'm going to use weight loss just because we were talking about that. So weight loss is every day in every way, I am going to eat a well-balanced meal. Every day in every way, I don't want sugar. I have no desire to have sugar in my life. I don't like the taste of sugar. Sugar makes me sick. So after the hypnosis, if you put sugar in your mouth, you're going to feel crummy, because we're telling the brain sugar makes you feel crappy. Okay. And then the next part of it is just bringing you back into awareness. And the dopamine, it's like that reward for completing the session. And the endorphin is you feel calm and safe. All right. So there's more to this, but I'm just going to keep it at sort of a simple level. Affirmations, breath work, Reiki, guided imagery, all of these elements are included in hypnosis and use dopamine and endorphins. So that's why I wanted to bring this to you guys. Um, and then there are brain waves, okay, that impact everything. When you're going into hypnosis, right, there's different brain waves. So beta is at the 12 to 20, 12 to 40 hertz. So you're awake, you're alert, um, you're too active for like a deep sleep, a deep trance. Okay. The alpha, which is where most people go, it is all tied together, Laura. And I use all of these techniques as a Reiki practitioner, as an energy practitioner, as a meditation, and even grief educator. All of these are interconnected because it's about our brain. What is in our brain? It is very complicated. And people are still unraveling the mysteries of how the brain works. So the alpha waves, it's 8 to 12 hertz. You're in a relaxed meditative state. You could be in a light trance. It's really good for like stress reduction, visualizations, that kind of stuff. Then we go into the theta, and this is 4 to 8 hertz. This is really deep relaxation. It's optimal for hypnosis. And that is the theta occurs during the induction and into the suggestion mode. Um, and that's where I hate to use the word reprogramming. So the reframing of the messages to your brain. So I really do want to eat every single day a protein, a vegetable, and a healthy carb. I really do want to drink my 8 to 10 glasses of water every day to nourish my body and make me feel better. I really do want to get up and do my stretches and exercise, whatever that is defined by you. I'm not telling you to go run a bloody marathon if that's not what you want to do. Uh, I'll use this example. So we had a golfer. For the life of him, he couldn't, I want to call it putt. He sucked. Um, and it was a brain thing. You know, it was uh, he had his own roadblock. And so through hypnosis, now every time he got up to do it, there was this breath work that automatically came over him. And he was able to put his hands in the correct position. And then he took another deep breath in. Sorry, I'm really having a hard time here. He took a deep breath in. And upon the exhale, he did his swing, his little putt, and boom, he improved dramatically. Now, I'm not a golf expert, but it's really about the brain. We do this with kids taking tests. I wish I had known about this when I was a kid taking the SATs, because my anxiety was, well, if I don't pass this SAT, I'm a failure. I'm never going to go to college. And I don't know what's going to be on the test, because in everyday class, I knew what I was studying and what was going to be on the test. But if my vocabulary wasn't up to par, that was because my teachers weren't teaching us the vocabulary, right? So if you didn't know your math equations, you weren't being taught those math equations. So how are you going to know in order to pass? Anyway, it was always anxiety producing for me. For singers, so I never got to this stage in my career. Career's a really loose word. Community theater. There would be moments where my voice, kind of like right now, would constrict and the notes wouldn't come out when I had to sing. I could talk, but there was something about the singing, and it was self-judgment. Self-hypnosis helps you to overcome those things that are blocking you, to release the throat so that you can let out the booms. So this worked for kids in sports, taking tests, and adults. Any of your, really, those that had to do public speaking. they would get so choked up, all you heard from them, so really what I want to and I by the time you were done, all you know is he said breathing techniques through hypnosis allows people to communicate. So it really is not just woo woo, as Jimena would like to say. Um, it really is a technique to help people get past something they already want to do. And this goes for sleeping. It does work with pain management. There are some caveats with hypnosis and pain management. We don't want you to not feel pain. We want to help you work through pain. But pain receptors, whole different discussion. This is really where experts come in. But pain tells you something's not right in your body. That's different than being sore from exercising, right? I think we all can agree on that. So anyway, I'm getting a little sidetracked. So delta brain waves. This is the deep unconscious sleep, right? You are really, very few people get into this delta state of heavy trance. And then gamma. Um, this is rare in hypnosis, so I don't really want to talk about it too much because it's highly unusual. Okay. So what, right? From beta to alpha, using breath work, regressive relaxation, all of these things help the person, you, become receptive to quieting your mind to be able to receive information that you have shared with the hypnotherapist that you want to work through. So, what I would do, and I'm going to take a break. Hold on. Any questions? Anybody have anything? Does this make sense? Um, because each of us can get into, if you want to just go through a mini version of what it might feel like, I can go through that. Obviously, you can't be driving. You can't be doing anything. You have to be in a reclined position. Your head and neck need to be supported. Why? It's not like meditation. If you're going into a deep hypnotic state, you don't want to bounce your head and snap out of it. It's not impossible, but it's very difficult to get back into that place of quiet space. So really keep that in mind. And then goal setting. You need to think about what is it that you want to achieve, right? Sometimes, you know, we need to be really clear about what we want to achieve. And somebody had once said to me, what's the difference between hypnosis and meditation? It's intention. Hi, Shannon. Nice to see you. My goodness. So, what we would do, I'm just going to walk you through what we would do for a hypnosis. And we'll go from there. So, with a normal voice, not so congested, we would obviously spend some time again, just, well, from a self hypnosis. Let's just do self hypnosis. Let me just have you leave with that. And I have a cheat sheet. So hold on. Let me just use that for today. And oh, I knew it. There was one more thing I wanted to bring up. Where is he? Hold on. I have some notes that I want to bring his amazing phrasing into this. So that when we're talking about what our goals are. So Emile Couillet had created this phrase, every day in every way, I'm getting better and better. And then you would put your intention. So, for example, every day in every way, I'm getting better and better, honoring my hunger and fullness with loving awareness. Every day in every way, I am eating the balanced meals that make me feel well. It's every day in every way, I'm getting better and better. I am worthy of nourishment, joy, movement, whatever it is. Um, oh, great. I don't really know Joe Dispenza. Great. So it's the phrasing every day in every way. I'm getting better and better. You repeat that, and so I'm going to talk about it right now. And then, if you are interested, and you would need to say so in the comments, if you're on the replay in the comment section or here in the chat, that you would like me to document this, and I'll put it in the description. So for self-hypnosis, there's 3 steps. So the first step is when you're ready to go to bed, I am worthy. Would that be enough? So you're worthy for what, Shannon? So what hypnosis does is you want to change thought patterns. So you're worthy of love. I am worthy of. What are you worthy of? What is it that you want to change at the end of the day? It's a great concept. So every day in every way, I am worthy. I am worthy of. You have to be as specific as possible so that you can change that thought pattern, because a negative thought could come in and go, let me see if I can think of something. I am worthy of love. I'm just going to throw that one out. Love from whom? So now I'm going to throw, I don't know anything about you. So, your father comes in. Well, you don't want love from your father. You don't like your father. Okay, great. So that's out. So now you just undid the thought process. You're worthy of what? And that's where you want to go. That's a great thing. So what I would say is I'm worthy of respect. I'm worthy of affection. I am worthy of recognition for my skills. I am worthy for, you know, whatever it is that you want to have come out of your system. So it's a great start. Finish the thought process. So the same thing is, I deserve to lose weight. Well, what does that mean? So when I'm talking to someone who wants to lose weight, I ask you to stand in front of a mirror in your mind. What does the reflection look like to you? If you want to be anorexic, that's not any better. Are you looking to be healthy and vibrant? Are your clothes, do you want to see your clothes fitting better? Do you want to see a new glow to your skin? All of that is part of the wellness. So every day in every way, I'm getting better at valuing the food I'm putting into my system. You can get specific. Every day in every way, I'm getting better and better at eating protein and vegetables and carbs. So it's all about choice. What is it that you want to put into your body? How do you want your body to feel? I want to feel energized. Great. There are certain foods, blueberries, for example. I love blueberries. If you have a urinary issue, blueberries, I don't remember why or the chemical, it makes you have to tinkle all the time. Well, if you already have a bladder problem, blueberries probably are not the best fruit for you, right? So knowing what you're putting in your body, knowing there's a person I know who's doing a 21-day fast. I think he's Looney Tunes. I can't not eat for 30 days. I can't not eat for 5 days. I would struggle with 2 or 3 days. Now, because I haven't been feeling well for days, there's very little food in my system right now, but I feel weak and I don't feel good. but I also know I can't eat at the moment. So it's balancing that. That's because I'm not feeling good. Intentionally, I love the idea of fasting. I If you don't have to do things every day, if you don't have to work, sorry, there was a gnat flying in front of my face, then maybe if you just journaled, you meditated, you slept, it's not a time for exercise. It's not a time for heavy lifting. Yeah, I mean, there's different foods, Shannon, that, it's kind of knowing what it is that you need to change within your own body. So, okay. So, self hypnosis. So, before you go to bed, when you're in bed, you're relaxed. Tonight, for example, and for the next 7 days, just as you're ready to fall asleep, and you can use mala beads, you can use your fingers, you can use rosary beads. Um, Give yourself the following suggestion 10 times. And if you're not really 100% sure of how you want to phrase it, you can just say, every day in every way, I am getting better and better. Every day in every way, I am getting better and better. Every day in every way, I am getting better and better. And continue that for 10 times. While you're saying the suggestion, imagine yourself in a way getting better and better. And so allow yourself not to fall asleep until you finish it. Okay. That's why we say use your fingers to count, use a mala bead, use a prayer bead. You can just, push your fingers together 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You know what I mean? It's, you really want to accomplish that. And that's the first 7 days. After that, you're going to continue with step 1, but then you're going to twice a day in the morning and at noon or in the evening, you're going to hypnotize yourself, and you're going to stay in that hypnosis for 2 or 3 minutes, and I will guide you through that. But before we get to the second step, you have to master the first. Every day in every way, I am getting better and better. And I will walk this journey with you. I will help with the next step, because there's some breathing that goes into it. But it is retraining the brain in an action that you want to accomplish. You're not going to do it all. You're not going to, it's, you can't say, well, I want to quit smoking and I want to quit weight, I want to lose weight and I want to be able to, do blah, blah, blah. Keep it simple, right? It's the KISS system. Keep it simple, silly. um, think about how you want to use your own methods. I've talked about this before. Words matter, right? When we talked about Don Miguel Ruiz and the 4 agreements, what you say is critical. So along the lines with Shannon, jeez Louise. So sharing and Shannon that gets me every single time. Mentioned, it's, be explicit. What is it that each of us wants to accomplish? Slowly. You can't change everything all at once. You're not going to be successful. Know what it is that you want to accomplish. So if you want to lose weight because you want to become fit because now you're training for a marathon, totally different aspect. Concept's the same. Concept is the same. I also encourage, if we're talking weight loss, and I would even say if it's smoking cigarettes, don't have them there. When you're ready to start this, Don't have a house full of devil dogs, yoo-hoos, ring dings, ice cream, candy, cake, pie. Don't put your, because eventually you can have a piece of those things, but not initially. Don't put, you can't give a recovering addict and put a plethora of whatever they've just quit. When somebody very close to me quit drinking, I didn't serve alcohol for the first couple of years until he was like, yeah, it doesn't faze me. You can put, a gallon of booze in front of me. That's not going to bother me. Now I'm not much of a drinker, so it wasn't a sacrifice for me. But if I'm going to host a party, odds are I'm not serving liquor unless I know my audience really well, because I know enough people recovering. Why would I tempt you? Now, hypnosis will give you the tools to say, yeah, that doesn't work for me. This is disgusting to me. I don't need a drink. But that's after you've gone through your recovery program and you just want reinforcement. Same thing with drugs. So whether it's drugs, smoking, food, sugar, gaming, playing games, spending money, these are all addictions. They're just different kinds. Driving over a bridge, terrifying. Every day in every way, I'm getting better and better at visualizing driving over the bridge. Every day in every way, I am getting better and better driving over the bridge. Because you're not afraid, because you know the bridge isn't going to collapse. By the time you're finished, you should be able to drive over that bridge. It works for me. I was terrified of driving over bridges. And I was terrified of flying. Now I have techniques now when I get on the plane, and I have a little ritual, and, nobody has to know what my ritual is. Nobody has to be aware of it. But there is a whole process that I go through. Am I still nervous? Sure. It's what's beyond my control that makes me nervous. But what can I control? Information. I know the plane I'm getting on. I know, where I'm going, how long it's going to take, usually what the weather is. So if I know if it's going to be bumpy, I choose the seat where possible, where I'm going to sit. So I know that I have the comfort in that. And then there's a couple of little idiosyncrasies that I do for myself for when I fly. So we all have our thing, whatever that thing is. So I'm going to stop now because I'm really losing my oomph here. But I hope that this was informational at least. And then if you're interested, I'll do the self-hypnosis technique on Thursday. We can use the weight loss if we want. And follow this just to go through the process. Yes, I do hypnosis. Yes, you can schedule a session with me. Yes, you can schedule a free consult with me. But that's not why I'm talking about this topic today. This came to me from my friend, Jimena, who was very interested. And so just in the whole concept and what hypnosis is and how your mind goes. And so we can work together and understand the process. And I'm also doing the self-hypnosis and hypnosis because I need to exercise. And it's really the kick in the pants that I need. I intellectually know, get off the couch, get out of the chair, and do your exercise. It's not like it's brain surgery, but I don't have the momentum. I don't have the oomph. I don't have the joie de vivre to get my ass off the couch and do my exercises. Using the hypnosis techniques, which I have started in the evening, every day in every way, I'm getting better and better at exercising in the morning. Every day in every way, I'm getting better and better at exercising in the morning. And then I will start to get more specific. I get up and I do my squats and I'm doing some bending and twists. I'm not doing anything extravagant. This was just to get me moving. So that's what I would encourage you. And using these techniques, you can motivate yourself. But if you fall down and motivating yourself isn't working, I'm happy to help you. And if there is greater interest, I would do a group on Google Meet. And that way, those of us that wanted to do something, whatever it is, similar, we could all meet together and do it together. If you all want to do a self-hypnosis just for a trial, I'll do it on a Google Meet. I want to respect people's privacy in this forum because this is public. This goes out to everybody. And though my channel is small, someday it might go kapoof. And so, it's just the effort that it takes. And I also want to be at my best. Karen, I'm sorry you missed the session. I hope you watch the replay if you're interested in this topic. And so we'll go from, here. As always, I appreciate each and every one of you just being here. It's so lovely to see you. If you have not liked the video, please do so. It helps me. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe. For those of you on the replay, please put into the comments if you are interested in participating in any level of hypnosis or self-hypnosis, some way of improvement. And if you guys are very much interested in practicing the self-hypnosis, I know Laura put it in there. Every day in every way, I am getting better and better. Fill in the blank. Or just leave it, I'm getting better and better. Yes, lemon water does await me. As a matter of fact, I have some peppermint that I grew in my garden that's sitting in some water right now. So I can't wait to go and have some of that. But and Jimena, I know we'll talk on prayers to your dad. Thank you all so much for being here. As always, I send you with love, with light, with healing, with compassion, sprinkled with joy and laughter and giggles. From my heart to yours. Thank you so much for being here, and I send you with blessings.
I'm like an ice skater dancing out for the first time on the form solid ice. No more fears, no sorrows, because I love the coming tomorrows. This life has barely begun, but now I know what I want to do. I know what I want to be, reborn. Finally feeling I am fulfilling my destiny with a heart filled of gratefulness, happiness, joy, overflowing of kindness and love. Oh, so much love. I feel like love is the supportive pillar in my soul, and it only grows each day. I'm reborn in love.